All right, we've been following, again, this breaking news, this report, the U.S. warning of imminent Iranian missile attack, the possibility of that on Israel. Reportedly, Israel on high alert. We're also learning that the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem, according to ABC News, has ordered a shelter in place for all employees there and their family members within that area. Again, U.S. officials saying an imminent attack from Iran on Israel is something of concern at this hour. With us now is Carl Higbie. He's joining us now, host of Frontline and former Navy SEAL. Carl, good to see you, and thanks for. I know you're in the building and listening to this, and obviously we've covered this before. You know, you think back a couple of months ago, this threat was made, again, an imminent attack on Israel. We didn't see anything evolve from that, but there is a different feeling in this moment as we watch this ground incursion by the IDF in Lebanon to take out Hezbollah command centers. Now you have this threat from Iran, seemingly maybe leaked to the New York Times or to others, and here we are right now. What are your thoughts?
Well, so let's go back years where people have said, well, Iran is like loosely supporting Hezbollah. They're loosely supporting the Houthi rebels. They're, you know, so this is pretty definitive now. Like everything that, I hate to say it, Donald Trump was right again, where Iran is the main bad actor in there. This is the first real direct threat we've seen from Iran. I mean, this is a formal threat. We're going to launch some rockets at you from Iran. Okay? This is something that, you know, Obama flew pallets of cash into Iran, relieves tons of sanctions in exchange for the nuclear deal, which actually didn't allow any type of restrictions on their nuclear plan in reality. It did on paper, but not in reality. Fast forward, Trump, you know, pulls out of that. He does a lot of things. Iran isolated itself. There were no direct attacks during that time. Then you fast forward to this administration, and you've got this mayhem in the Middle East where Iran is basically doing whatever they want because they have so much access to cash because the sanctions have been lifted. I mean, it's like, you know, cat, tree, here we go.
Yeah, certainly strengthened Iran. Let's talk about this. These are comments that are being attributed right now, Carl, just to a White House source. So keep that in mind. I think that's important for people to know. But this source supposedly saying that the U.S. will help Israel defend itself against these expected strikes, similarly to how it shot down missiles and drones when Iran launched a major attack back in April. Do you see that happening this time around? And then I also want to ask you this. What other nations do you expect to step up and support Israel in this moment?
So I expect a lot of nations to support. I mean, here's the thing: is Israel didn't start this conflict. Like I'm not carrying water for Israel here. Like they were there. October 7th happened. These people came in on paragliders and shot up children at music festivals. Okay,
1,200 people dead.
Exactly, which is like 4x or 5x what our 9/11 was. All right. The IDF sent the Israeli Defense Forces sent help to America when we had 9/11, okay? This is something you were talking about. Iran, people who chant death to America in the streets. State-sponsored death to America chants in the streets. And they are now launching rockets from one sovereign nation to another to destroy them. We have been saying that this was going to be the end-all, be-all eventually, and now we're here, allegedly, according to these reports. We have to understand that when Israel says death to Israel, death to America, they're not kidding. It's not like a postcard. It's a real thing. And people at home, if you think this is going to stop in Israel, it's not. I mean, America is next on the target deck. We just happen to be 5,000 miles away, and Israel is right in their backyard. But this is something that we need to pay close attention to. I'm not saying put U.S. troops on the ground. I'm not saying divert a ton of military resources. But let's start taking Iran a little bit more seriously and cut off all of their money.
And the U.S. does have 40,000 troops and plus more going at their station nearby in the Middle East. We also know that the United Nations General Assembly just wrapped up. The Prime Minister just called out Iran right there, point blank, as well as the United Nations. And now you have this, again, this threat.
But the other thing, real quick, is the other thing is Kamala Harris in the last debate bragged about no U.S. troops in combat zones. What do you think 40, 50, 60,000 troops, by the way, some of which are National Guardsmen from Tennessee that could be used to fight that hurricane damage right now?
All right, Carl Higbie, stay right there because we're going to come back to you and we need to take a break.